Pork and beef processing plants across the United States are coming back online. But even with processing plants opening back up for the foreseeable future, they will not be running at full capacity.
It was announced that there were 14 processing plants across the United States that had come back online. Now, keep in mind, even though they're back online, they are not coming back online at 100%. Most of them are at 40 or 50% at best when they ramp back up. And there are some questioning whether or not we will ever get back to 100% capacity due to the new social distancing and safety measures that have been put in place in processing plants across this country. The good news is they're coming back online. The challenging news is we're still not back at 100%.
I would say that the first and most important step forward for any system across the U.S. food and ag supply chain is testing. So without accurate data, it's almost impossible for us to even know what we're dealing with. We're actually submitting multiple grants to the USDA within the next week, where we're going to be looking at different touch points and areas of concern throughout the U.S. food supply chain. But what we're finding is that the data limitations alone are making this next to impossible to really trace accurately. So testing is an important piece of this, and regulations are also going to be an important second step toward allowing for more flexibility in the U.S. food supply chain.
It's not just large-scale operations feeling the pinch of the backed-up supply chain. It's reached smaller processors and producers too, like Zeeland, Michigan's Shamrock Meats, which hasn't been able to keep up with the spike in demand from consumers looking for some peace of mind and a freezer full of meat.
We have been on an exponential growth curve in the last 2 months, and it's been kind of shocking. Being a fairly new business, we haven't really ever seen anything like this before. When I'm having to plan out my processing like 6 months in advance just to keep meat in my freezers right now. When this all started, I had people buying, 25, 30 pounds of ground beef at a go. And I'm like, what? I can't keep up with something like that. We're not that big. So it's been crazy. We've had a lot of new business, and for that I'm thankful. I just don't know how sustainable that is.
While the supply chain backlog is presenting challenges at every stage of the process, Malone says it's also presenting some opportunities.
If you talk to almost any producer in the country right now, they're looking at the margins between what the consumer is paying versus what they're getting on farm. And they're immediately going to think this might be an entrepreneurial opportunity for them. So of course, there's going to be a lot of people right now that are very interested in developing these types of small processing facilities. I think almost definitely we're going to see an increase in the number of small processors coming online in the next few years.
But Malone says despite talk of shortages and disruptions throughout the supply chain, people are able to put food on the table thanks to the hard work of producers here in Michigan and across the country.
We're 2 months in to the largest exogenous shock to the food system in our lifetimes and perhaps in the last 100 years, yet we can all eat 3 nutritious meals a day. That's incredible.